Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, guys, we're going to be looking ahead to Barcelona's game tomorrow against Real Betis. We have just come off of a huge win against Atletico Madrid in the Copa del Rey. But as I've been saying, guys, Barcelona right now, the fixture list is so congested that we're going to be back into the action. We're going to be playing Real Betis in La Liga tomorrow. And we're going to be looking at the boards from Hansi Flick. And we're also going to be giving a shout out to two players for some outstanding stats that I do want to talk about on the channel. But as always, guys, make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Everything's posted down below in the description, as well the link to become a member is also posted down below. Access to the Discord server, access to badges and icons, and access to the videos a little bit earlier. But as always, guys, let's get started with the video. Alright guys, let's get started with the video and let's look at the words from Hansi Flick in his press conference before Barcelona's match tomorrow against Real Betis in La Liga. He starts off by saying it will be a tough match. We've already played each other twice and we'll have to give our all. We must focus on recovering well and going for the win. He talks about the team's image. He says the team's image was very good. The style we used with the ball was incredible. Of course, we can improve and we made some mistakes, but it's true that we've improved a lot. We have the quality to win matches, but tomorrow will be difficult. And obviously, the game against Atletico Madrid, it was a game of two legs, well, not two legs, two sides. Barcelona in the first half, they were really offensive, they were proactive. And then in the second half, Barcelona, they had to be a little bit more gritty, they had to be more defensively resilient, and you saw Barcelona managing to control the match and not necessarily have the match get away from them, in which we have seen in the past it happen. Hansi Flick talks about possible rotations, and this is something that can happen, with Barca playing so many matches, and next week being the game in which Barcelona we're going to be playing against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, rotations could be on the cards. And Hansi Flick said, we have to manage this issue with so many games ahead. It's normal. I spoke with the experts and together we decided what to do and how many minutes they can play each game. We're not looking at Dortmund yet, but at Betis, we need to have fresh legs out on the pitch. And so right there, he gives a hint on possible rotations. And when we're looking at tomorrow's lineup, guys, I do expect a very strong Barcelona lineup, but I expect, for example, players like Inigo Martinez to be rested. I'm expecting a player such as, I don't know, maybe a Pedri not to start, potentially, maybe Lamine Yamal, Jules Koundé being subbed off, maybe in the 60th minute mark. We're going to have to see what specific changes Hansi Flick does implement, but I do expect some rotations to be made against Real Betis. Hansi Flick, he talks about the possibility of 3 more El Clásicos. He says, thinking about the treble is great, but we shouldn't focus on dreams. We have to look ahead to the next game, and player self-confidence is good, but my job is to ensure they give their all in every game. We're fighting for everything. We believe in that, and we have the player support. We need the fans. It's a good situation, but we're moving on. And guys, I want to know your guys' opinion on this, because Barcelona, before the match against Atletico, after the match against Atletico, and even now in the press conference before the match against Real Betis, there's been a lot of talks about possible treble. And I am not against necessarily Barcelona fans or the players or even Hansi Flick talking about Barcelona's ability to go after that treble. But at what point does it become, okay, guys, let's, sort of deviate and let's not talk about it too much, because when we talk about the treble and everything, we're talking about the end goal. We're not focusing on the matches that are happening right now. If Barcelona lose against Real Betis, which they can, anything can happen in the world of football. I don't want that negative sensation or everything to be crashing down. Absolutely not. And so I want to know your guys' opinion. Your guys' opinion in regards to this whole treble talk. Do you guys think it's perfectly valid, or would you guys, Barcelona, want to, let's say, to put a calmer on things? I want to know your guys' opinions on that. He talks about the title race. He says it's not a 2-team league yet. There are still 9 games left. It's not just Barca and Real Madrid. There are other teams with the quality to win this league too. Right there, Hansi Flick being humbled. He talks about Pellegrini's Betis. He says Pellegrini is doing a great job. He's a fantastic and experienced manager. He has new players like Antony, who is playing well after arriving from Manchester United, and the team is playing very well. And talking about that, guys, Antony, he's doing absolutely fantastic. I saw a little chart that was basically talking about the form that each La Liga team have been involved in since Antony arrival in La Liga. And I don't know if this is true or not, but it showed Real Betis in second place in La Liga, after Antony had, joined Real Betis. And there were jokes being thrown around saying that, oh, the goal of La Liga is back, etc., etc. But, we're going to have to see if Antony is able to turn up against Barcelona tomorrow. Hansi Flick, he gives a message to the fans. He says, I don't like to talk about myself. I have a great team around me with experts who help me a lot to implement the ideal football idea. I just try to help the players, and it's fantastic how the team is improving. You can already see the atmosphere in the locker room. It is fantastic. He talks about, the physical exhaustion. He says, we check everything every day, how the players are doing, but at the highest level, there are always matches, and it's very important to get the players back on track. My team works hard, and it's not easy, but when you're winning matches, it gives you a lot of confidence. You always have to think about the next game, and I really like what I'm seeing in the locker room right now. And obviously, with Barcelona in this great run of form, we are obviously going to be excited. We're going to be confident, and rightfully so. There isn't a team in Europe that is playing at our level. Barcelona is by far the best team in Europe right now, and thus they have the confidence to back it up. But at the end of the day, obviously, we have to manage the players' minutes. We have to make sure that this form is able to continue and be able to effectively say, hey, which players need some rest and which players, can continue on. Hansi Flick, he talks about potential errors that need to be corrected. And he says, when we have possession, we see fantastic pace, but many teams know how to exploit mistakes when they have the ball. That's why we have to focus on that and eliminate opportunities for the opponent. It's nothing more. Sometimes we can give up a lot of space for counterattacks, and that's what we want to eliminate. And this is one of the portions that obviously, we do need to improve on. We need to understand, how the game is going, what's the direction of the game, what's the pace, what's the momentum, and thus respond appropriately. We don't want to be, being caught off guard for necessarily being so high up necessarily when there is no need to. Hansi Flick, he talks about Laporta's dreams and about his ambition. He says, I don't know what the president is dreaming of. I imagine it's beautiful things. What I can say is that I want to win every game and play 15 more matches for this team, the club, and the fans. If we achieve this, I'll be very happy. Right there, Hansi Flick, hinting at potential trophies and a potential, I would say, I'm not going to mention that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Hansi Flick, he talks about Gavi, who on Wednesday night, he was going to go warm up, but due to him feeling some discomfort in the knee that he was operated on, Hansi Flick opted not to bring him on and instead brought on Eric Garcia. Hansi Flick, he talks about Gavi. He says, we decided to rest him against Atletico because he was experiencing some discomfort. He's fine now. I've spoken with the doctors and the recovery team, and he's fit to play tomorrow. And I think Gavi, he's going to be pivotal in these next upcoming weeks. When Barcelona are going to be having to play so many games, you do want a player to be involved that is able to give some rest to your starters. And even then, Gavi, he at one point was an undisputed starter and among Barcelona's best midfielders. And we just need to recover that fantastic level from Gavi. And those were the words from Hansi Flick. But I do want to give credit to both Ferran Torres and Inigo Martinez because I saw these two stats from them. And now when we look at Ferran Torres right now is the top scorer of the Copa del Rey with 5 goals. He's tied with both Endrick and as well as Julian Alvarez. Julian Alvarez eliminated from the Copa del Rey. And so that final against Real Madrid is going to dictate who's going to be finishing as the top goal scorer of the Copa del Rey. And let's hope it's the Shark who does achieve that milestone. It would be absolutely fantastic for him to do so. It would mean that Barcelona, they would be gaining some silverware. But I also want to give credit to Inigo Martinez because this stat says that Inigo Martinez is the player in La Liga who has won the most duels at 74% and who has also won 65% of his aerial duels. He also has a figure of 4.2 ball recoveries and 3.6 ball clearances per game, which is more than both Ron Araujo and Pau Cubarsí. And guys, it is no joke that saying that Inigo Martinez right now is having one of the seasons of his life. He's playing absolutely fantastic, playing amazingly under Hansi Flick, and he's become a pillar in that back line. I always say that Pau Cubarsí is Barcelona's best defender, and I wouldn't necessarily say that Inigo Martinez is far off of that. And that's crazy to think about because a lot of people wrote Inigo Martinez off last summer saying, hey, Barcelona, this is the opportunity to sell, due to those injuries, due to some concerns of a lack of fitness. A lot of people did write him off, but Inigo Martinez showing and proving the haters wrong. And I want to give credit to both Ferran and Inigo Martinez for the performances that they've been putting in and those stats and the great work that they're doing for the club. But guys, I want to know your guys' score predictions. What type of lineup would you guys want to see tomorrow against the Real Betis? What Barcelona team are you expecting? And what performance would you like to see? But as always, guys, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, guys.